Alright, so just to let all of you see what goes on behind the scenes in the making of Against the Odds, I want to do this really short bonus outtake video. So, when I went to build this week's Against the Odds deck, I knew the card was Endless Whispers, and this deck that you can see here on screen was my first attempt at this deck. So the idea of this deck, apart from having a sweet red promo Damnation, was to get an Endless Whispers on the battlefield, and then also get a sacrifice outlet like Nantucket Husk or Blood Baron on the battlefield. And then, with the help of Heartless Summoning to speed things up, we would cast a Boldrai Heavyweights, an 8/8 for 4 that when it enters the battlefield, the opponent gets to tutor a creature, any creature, from their library and put it onto the battlefield. Or a Sky Swallower. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent gains control of all other permanents you control. So you get to keep the Sky Swallower, but all your lands, all your other creatures, everything goes to your opponent. So the idea was, once we assembled this crazy concoction, Endless Whisper, sack outlet, we would play the Boldrai Heavyweights, for example, and be like, man, this is going to be really painful. Our opponent gets to search out a creature from their library, hope that it's a Tarmogoyf or a Spellskite or something, and then as soon as it enters the battlefield, we would sack it to the Nantucket Husk, which would trigger the Endless Whispers, which would mean at the end step, it would come into play under our opponent's control, and yeah, they got their Tarmogoyf or their whatever, but we get to search out an Emrakul. And Sky Swallower was kind of the same idea. Yeah, we play it with the trigger of giving all our permanents to our opponent on the stack. We sack it to a Husk, which triggers the Endless Whisper. And then on the end step, Sky Swallower comes back, and we would get all of our opponent's permanents, including all of our permanents that we had just given to our opponents, so we'd be able to steal all of their permanents. So this was my first take at this deck, and it lasted all of one match before I went back to the drawing board. So what you get to see in this bonus video is why I gave up on this deck after only one match. Alright, Against the Odds time, playing some Endless Whispers in Modern. We got the Heavyweights, we got the sack outlets, but no Endless Whispers as of yet. Let's just Watergrave tapped, pass the turn, planes for our opponent. Let's just go Bloodstained Mire and pass. Just in case they're playing Leonin Arbiter, we can crack it before it comes down. Oh, interesting. Alright, crack this, get a Bloodstained Mire, or get a Blood Crypt, rather. Tapped. There's Phage. Alright, Swamp and Nantucket Husk. Pass the turn. Flooded Strand for our opponent, cracks it. Steam Vents, untapped, and bolts our Husk. This might be the worst idea ever, but black, blue, I guess we get a Steam Vents. Alright. Let's see what happens here. We are just going to slam Boldrai Heavyweights. 8/8 Trample lets our opponent tutor their library for a creature and put it on the battlefield. So we're hoping the best they got is like Spellskite or something. Not a Wurmcoil, please, not a Wurmcoil. Oh no. I thought they were like a Thopter Sword deck, but apparently they are a Jeskai Emrakul deck. Well then, that's why you don't play the Heavyweights.